podcast. We are back for another daily edition of Photo Q&A, where we answer one of your photography questions every single day of the week, along with the help from my high school best friend, Paul, who's going to keep me on track and ask any clarifying questions if I get too technical or anything that the beginner photographer like yourself may not understand. Sometimes I just get into my head and get going pretty crazy. So if you have any questions that you want answered about photography or anything even related to photography, feel free to ask those questions. Submit your questions. You can do so on Instagram. Just comment on any of our photos. You can leave us a comment on Facebook. That's facebook.com/beginner photography podcast. Or just shoot us an email at beginnerphotographypodcast@gmail.com. And guys, if you like this episode and you get any sort of value out of it whatsoever, I would be forever grateful if you left us a review in iTunes or whatever podcast player you are listening to us on right now. That's it. Let's go ahead and get into today's question. Paul, we are back for another photo Q&A. You got any question for me today?
My guys.
Nay.
These are my guys.
Hey. Let's do this.
Michael, on Instagram. In Lightroom, I take a lot of snapshots, but after a while, I forget about all the images I have snapshots of throughout the year. Is there a way to filter them with other flagged images so I can see all of them at once?
This question is a good one that a lot of people, I think, don't know that Lightroom has the ability of. Obviously, Michael doesn't because he asked the question, but Lightroom is so much more than just a place to edit your photos, right? So, Paul, you've heard me talk about Lightroom a little bit, in this period of time that we've been doing this Q&A series. Why don't you kind of give me an explanation of what you think Lightroom is?
It's like Photoshop.
Okay, so Lightroom's official name is Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. So,
oh, what? I didn't know they're the same thing.
Yeah, they're not the same thing. Adobe Photoshop Lightroom is supposed to be used in conjunction with Photoshop. So,
okay.
Photoshop, the way that I look at Photoshop is it's more of single photo manipulation. Okay, so you bring in one photo at a time, you do work on that photo, you save it, on to the next one, right? Mm-hmm. Lightroom is a place where you can look at your entire series of images. You can look at all of the photos that you took at an engagement session. You can look at all of the photos that you took during a family session, and you can make edits to them multiple photos at a time if you wanted to. You can go back and edit, you can change the edit a little bit. And then just keep going from there. But the main key feature that I love about Lightroom is its ability to catalog its photos, meaning that Lightroom, in Photoshop, you file, open, pick your photo, it comes in, you do whatever you want with it, you save it, boom, it's gone. You never have to think about it again, right? Next time you go into Photoshop, if you want to bring up that same photo, you got to do the same thing. File, open, or open recent, and pick that photo, and then to bring it up again. However, at that point, all of your edits have changed. In Lightroom, when you want to work on a photo, what do? You go to, I know that the photo is it's on my desktop, so I go to my username, I click desktop. Oh yeah, look, the photo's right there. Boom, you click on that, and you can edit it, and they're non-destructive edits, so it doesn't matter if you crop it just on somebody's face. You can always press the crop button again and widen it out to whatever you want to do. But we're kind of getting away from Michael's question here, I guess. So he was asking about finding the snapshots that he took throughout the year. So when it comes to me and the snapshots that I take, it is either with my Samsung phone, my cell phone, or it is with my Fuji X70. And those photos, when they go into Lightroom, I put them in a separate folder, sure, like of my personal photos. But it sounds like Michael's not doing this. It sounds like he is just like dumping all of his photos into one giant bucket, and now he's trying to find the one piece of information that he's looking for.
That's
right?
what I do.
Wow. And how do you find your photos?
I never look for them, so.
Okay. Well, your kids are in for a mess when you
Yes, they are.
die, and they go to look back at some family photos.
That's their problem.
Nice. Lightroom, however, has the ability to search specific. Lightroom has the ability to search the photo's information for specific parameters, whatever you want to search for. So if you know that you like, oh man, I don't remember what camera I took that photo with, but I remember that I took it with my 35 millimeter lens. So let me go back, and you can search for all the photos taken with that specific lens, right? And not just the focal length, but that specific lens, which is great, which means that it can also do the same thing, like, oh yeah, you know what, it was a personal snapshot, so it had to have been taken on my Fuji X70. I'll just search for all the photos taken with the Fuji X70, and it will filter everything else out. And therefore, or in that way, you can just go through and search for it from there. And then
So you can have one giant pot, but if you just
you can, but
know,
it's so inefficient. It's so inefficient to do that. I would highly recommend you to anyone to use a folder system. I have just one folder called Photos, right? And then once you open that up, it's categorized by the type of photo that it is. Is it a personal photo? Is it an engagement photo? Is it a wedding photo? Or is it a portrait photo, right? All of my photos are going to fall somewhere within that category. And then once you click on that, okay, I know that I'm looking for a wedding photo. Click on that, and now it's going to pop up the year. Did I take it in 2013, 2014, 15, 16, or 2017? And then you click on the year. And then from there, it shows all of my couples' names who I photographed that year. And then, boom, I find it that way. It's just so efficient because whatever photo you're looking for, you're going to have an idea of what it is that you want. Now, when it comes to snapshots, it can be a little bit different, but I think that just naming it like, you know, like if you go to like the pumpkin patch or something like that, that's why it makes sense to categorize everything by year. Because if you just have if you don't, and you just have a folder of like pumpkin patch photos, you're going to put all in the photos from 2014, 2015, 2016, and now you like everything's just all mixed up. So categorize things as much as possible, separate them, and just organize them, and it is going to save you so much time. But if you forget for some reason, or if you're in this situation now to where you just have one giant bucket, use that metadata search tool, which is in the it's in the library module up at the top. It's, you know, you can filter things by ratings, you know, or flags, and then that's also where you're going to be able to filter things by the camera aspect or lens choice or what have you, whatever information you want to know about that camera, and then just go ahead and start separating things out from there, and then start using a folder system. That is what I would do.
yeah, no, that makes sense. You do that anyway on Facebook, or most people do it on Facebook.
Do what? Separate it out between like
Yeah, like they have
profile
like,
pictures and.
well, it that automatically does that. But I'm saying like, you know, organization will help, I think, in any facet of your life.
Especially photography, when now people are taking more photos in like I think now in 2017, I could be completely making this up, or not making it up, but just getting this fact wrong, but I think people as a whole are taking more photos per month than had ever been taken from like 2005 to the beginning of time. Let me pull up that exact fact because I feel like I didn't. Hold on.
No, that seems like inaccurate because 2005, was the iPhone out yet?
No.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense. Like I told you, and like you know, I think I had a
Oh, here
camera
we
in
go.
high school that had a camera, or a phone that had
No.
a camera in high school.
If you did, it was your Razor, and that was it. It didn't take video,
No,
just photos.
yeah, you had a Razor too, or no, you had a Sidekick.
I had both. I had the Razor, and then remember, I lost it the day before we went camping. No, it wasn't the day before. It was like the week before. You remember? It was with you, right? We went to Best Buy, and then like I sat down like in those rocking chairs, those gaming chairs that like you could play, and they like vibrated, and they had speakers on them. And then I got up, and I don't remember what happened after that, but like 5 minutes later, we were looking at CDs, and remembered like, wait, where's my phone? And then we walked back over there, and it was gone forever. And we were going camping like 3 days later. So I was like, oh shit, my mom's not gonna let me go camping if I don't have a cell phone. So I had to buy. That's when I bought the Sidekick.
Yes, I do remember that.
I loved that phone. I think that the Sidekick was probably one of my favorite phones of all time. More
Really?
so than the Razor. Yeah, for sure.
The BlackBerry Pearl was mine.
Really? The Pearl?
I could text like a ninja on that thing without even looking at it. Without even looking. Just the keyboard was so nuts.
You can't do that now with your iPhone?
I can't text without looking.
Why not? I bet you that you could. No, I bet you that you could.
I don't have any point of reference.
What do you mean? It's just a QWERTY
Pearl,
keyboard.
You had the center keys, but then you had an additional like 6 or 8 on the outside. So each key had 2 letters, but it was laid out like a normal keyboard. So your W and Q? Yeah. W and Q, if you wanted a W, you had to hit it twice. If you wanted Q, you hit it once. And then it's a different way of texting.
Okay, I gotcha.
And I could crank out some text messages, a book, so fast. And I could listen to music. I had a mini SD card on that bad boy. Yeah. So like maybe 4 or 5 songs. I had a headphone jack on it, which I thought was cool. It's like a mini MP3 player.
Yeah.
It had a flash.
Yeah.
With the camera.
That's cool.
It had GPS.
That's the one that I was there with you when you got it, right? Like you lost a phone, and it was Chris and Jessica and I were in San Diego, and I'm pretty sure that that's when you got it because we were going out to eat, and you drove to the phone store or whatever, and then once you got the phone, you were like, oh shit, now I gotta add in all my contacts and like do this and do that. So you just had me drive the Xterra to wherever we went to go eat.
Yeah, because I remember I dropped my phone on the pier, my Razor, the black one,
oh my God, you were still rocking a Razor.
The black on black. Oh, yeah, and
it
like bounced off the pier, went in the water, and then I got a Go phone. So garbage because I was like, I forgot why. It took some time for insurance to pay out or something. Anyway, I had one of those garbage phones for like 2 weeks, and then I got my BlackBerry Pearl, and I loved it up until I got an iPhone.
Crazy, man. It's crazy how fast technology advanced.
But yeah, that's how you felt about your Sidekick. I felt about my Pearl.
Well, okay, so here is the information. So more photos were taken in 2015 alone than were ever taken before. As in,
I believe that.
Every year in the past, all photos taken combined are still less than the amount of photos that were taken in 2015. And that is because of the amount of cell phone photos, selfies that people are taking. So now in 2017, it has multiplied. Oh my God, I can't even imagine how many more than that. So I think at its core, being able to separate things, if at its most basic by month and date captured, is going to be such a huge improvement over just having one bucket of photos and hoping to try to find whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
So Michael, go ahead and start using folders. That's what I would recommend right now.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope that you liked today's question. I hope that it brought you value and some sort of actionable tip that you're going to be able to implement and put into your photography journey to advance you to wherever you want to be, whether it's just a hobbyist or if you really want to take your photography professional and open up some sort of studio or business to do so. I hope that you got at least one piece of information out of today's episode. And again, if you did, please, please, please give us a review in iTunes. That's all that I ask for. I ask for nothing out of you out of this podcast. These podcasts take a lot of time to create, and I'm so happy to do so if you are going to take these tips and implement them to grow yourself, to grow your photography. So the only thing that I ask of you is if you could just please leave us a rating and review in iTunes or whatever podcast player or app you are listening to us on right now. Again, guys, if you have any photography questions or about anything photography related, feel free to send us an email at beginnerphotographypodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Facebook, facebook.com/beginner photography podcast, or find us on Instagram, where you'll be able to keep up with us and all of our guests that we have on the podcast as well. And that is Instagram username Beginner Photo Podcast. That's all that I got for today. I hope that you guys get out there, shoot something fun, enjoy. I love you guys, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.